unbox and assemble your studio reformer with XSR Footbar. What will come in the package, the 2 Allen keys, and then you will also need a knife. Hi, I'm Christine, and today I'm going to help you unbox and assemble your studio reformer with XSR Footbar. So, it usually helps with the boxes to have a knife or a box cutter, and we'll go through what other tools you might need along the way, but first let's just take a gander at the box. We've got some pretty big staples on the outside, so I want to make sure that as I pull out on this lid, because basically it is a lid to the box, that we pull outwards for those staples. See? And then I'll come around this side. Okay, I think we have enough wiggle. Here we are. So, now you will see a lot more cardboard and paper inside the box. Some of that has things inside. Some of that is just filler and space holder to protect the equipment. So, I see some tape involved as well. Let's take our box cutter, carefully removing some of these filler pieces. Good. Okay, now we've got some more boxes. I think this is just cardboard, but that is protecting the upholstery, so I'm going to be extra careful now that that's exposed. All right, so box cutter can go down. Check to see how heavy a box is before you start to maneuver and move it around. Don't assume its size means it's light. So we definitely have some things in here. I'll set this off on this workspace. Come back to that later. This also a bit of a heavier one. It's our sitting box. So I want to get better body mechanics to pull this out. Good. Okay. So now we have the carriage is actually on the underside of the reformer. So I'm going to carefully lift the carriage out and set it off to the side. And I'm thinking about this. I'm going to take that cardboard. This comes in handy quite often. You'll take a piece of cardboard from the packing and use it in your environment to protect the equipment. So this being quite a big piece of equipment, it's wise to have a buddy help you lift it up and out of the box. So I have a friend here who's going to come and help me pull this out. Thank you. Now we have the base over there. Let's empty the rest of the things out of the box. So we have our XSR Footbar. Going to set this off to our inventory side. And looking at the box, I just see filler. I don't see any other boxes with things inside. So we're going to take this away. The next step would be to open up our boxes and see what else we have going on here. Really lightly using that knife to cut into any of these boxes so you don't damage any pieces inside. Okay, so this box, we have springs, we have straps, we have pulleys. Okay, we know this box is our Footbar. And then we know this one is the sitting box. So I'm going to wait on the sitting box. That's a later step. Now, one thing in this main box, important information, you will have, and since you can't miss it, it's bright green. There's some sheets of paper in there, but we have a safety pamphlet. We have the specifics on installing the Footbar, which I'll do with you today. And then you also have the full assembly of the reformer. And then as I start to take pieces out, I'm going to talk a bit about them. So we have the ropes, that can come a little bit later. We have the straps also, can come a little bit later. Here's our pulleys. And we have the hardware for the Footbar. We have our reformer springs. These are the shoulder rest knobs. And then we also have the stopper block or the range limiter. Now I'm going to open this, and I might need my knife. Just very carefully. Okay. We have our shoulder rests. So it's definitely wise to be very careful as you're opening some of those things because they are upholstered. Okay. Just to keep everything in the same place, we'll put these over here. Now, let's take a look at our Footbar. I'm going to set it across the frame so you can get a good look at what I have here to match what you're doing. Again, carefully opening. Bring it down to this end. And here it is. We can get rid of this cardboard. Now, looking at the Footbar, we're going to need the hardware to attach it. So we have that right here. We have these two pretty significant knobs and then a extra large hex key or Allen wrench. So I'm going to take these out. Okay. Now, as I bring the Footbar over, one thing I'm looking for is where the seam is on the wrap. So I want the seam going to the bottom of the frame or outside. And Next step I want to take, these plunge bars, I'm going to press the plungers in, and then I step and I look around where I'm going to connect that plunger in, ideally, the same hole. Okay, now it will continue to just roll and swivel until we put the bolts in. So what I want to do here, I'll show you on this side, we have a couple of washers, so make sure the washers stay. There's a small one here and a big one towards the end of the bolt. And then this big piece goes over this hole here, or that connection point. So once we have that on one side, we want to make sure we do the same on the other side before we tighten the bolts. Good. Now those are in place. Might need to do some wiggling. There we go. I see what happened. 1, 2. That's why. Now it's lined up. Okay. Just loosely tightening those in on either side. Make sure we've got it evenly. So just tightening that enough with my hands, and then I'm going to test it. Change position. Good. Now I can take my hex key and tighten those up. You don't want to make it too tight so that it won't actually move. We want to have those vertical adjustments available. So I'm going to just a snug point, and then I'll check this other side too. Yeah, not too tight. And then check it one more time with the plunger. And that feels a little too tight. So I'm going to loosen one side just a smidge. I think this side might be a little bit too tight. There we go. And that's something you can adjust over time. Yeah. That's better. So it's definitely stable, but it's not rigid. You still want it to smoothly move up or down. So we have the XSR Footbar installed. Set my key off to the side. So now let's work on the risers. And since they weren't in this box, I'm guessing they're in the sitting box. So we'll take the shoulder rests. I'm placing them back in here for the moment. We have straps and ropes there. Pull this out. Again, very carefully. Okay. Extra cardboard pieces. Here they are. So we have our risers. Place those there. We can take our sitting box out and set it to the side. Very good. And there is another pamphlet in here. Set that with the important materials. Nothing else in this box, so we'll set this off to the side. Now, coming to the riser end, what I want to see, we have these pre-drilled holes here. And we have our pulleys. So let's take these pieces out. Pulleys are there. We have bolts. And we have the risers. So you'll see with the risers, two different sides. One has a smooth side to it, and this other side has grooves in it. This is the measuring side for the pulleys vertically. So now I'll take that screw through the back side, find that pilot hole, and then start to tighten it there. I'll just get it started, the upper and the lower, and then we'll come back with the Allen wrench or the hex key to finish. Now, you will find that hex key in one of the bags. It might be with the pulleys. For mine, it's with the stopper block or the range limiter. I'm setting that in there. Talk about that in a moment. Now let's tighten these risers up. Good, just loosely first. Make sure everything's even. Okay, risers are in place. Now let's take a look at the pulleys. So with the pulleys, we're going to take the knob side, and that needs to go on the back of the riser. There we go. We have two washers. One goes on either side. Come to your side first. All right, now we have, we'll be on the upper portion first. You're gonna have to apply a little bit of pressure as you screw that in, the pulley side. And then once it catches the threading, you'll be able to tighten that in. Good. Now, once you have this to a snug level, you want to make sure that the pulley is running vertically, okay? So that eye bolt looks through, the pulley's running up and down versus horizontally. And then once I have that set, I'm going to tighten that knob on the back side a little bit. There we go. So that can move freely. Okay. Other side, same thing. Pretty snug. Okay. Now, let's take a look at our carriage. So I'm going to leave my little Allen wrench over here, because now we have a little collection going. With the carriage, as I grab this, I want to make sure that I'm setting myself up for a nice, easy connection of the springs before I place it on the frame. So what I will do, I'm going to take this, place this on the frame with the upholstery side down very carefully. So we have that. Now I can grab my springs, attach them to the carriage before I place it in the frame. And this reformer comes with 3 red springs, 1 green, and 1 blue. So, what I like to do is alternate the red, the green, the red, the blue, the red. And we want to make sure that the hook end is going into the carriage. Okay, now that we have the springs attached, we can lay this into the frame and attach it to the spring bar. So again, be smart, be kind to yourself, lifting this up. And you want to make sure that the orientation is in the direction of the spring bar. Lining up those wheels, and then lay it down. Set it into the frame, and then make sure you attach the springs to the spring bar. Okay, let's now look at our shoulder rests. And we'll very quickly be ready for the straps. So, twist lock for the shoulder rests. Now this little paper piece that comes in on the headrest, it does have a coupon on it, so hang on to that. You can set it with your very important information. And as you might already know, maybe not, the shoulder rests are actually, the bolts are offset from center. So there's a wide setting and there's a narrow setting. As a default, I typically put it in the narrow setting, but depending on what you would like to do for your clients, who uses it the most. So now I'm taking a look here. As I lay this in to the bracket, I want to make sure that if it's in the narrow setting, it lines up perfectly. If it goes into the wide setting, it's set wider than the inside edge of the bracket closest to the headrest. So that's how you would know. Now I'm going to set that in first. I take one of my twist locks and I just gently start to turn it and it goes right on. Then once I have it still wiggling a little bit, I'm going to slide this into the locked position there, and then I can tighten it there. Same thing on the other side. Shoulder rests. Okay, now let's take a look at our ropes. We have ropes. We also have neoprene handles. So depending on if you choose to have those connected to the ropes at all times or only the foot straps or the, I should say the cotton loops, depending on your use. So what I will do here, I'm going to attach the ropes to the cotton loops first. And I'm going to leave them on the twist locks. Now I will take each rope through the pulley and then through that metal loop and that metal loop then takes it through the cleat, and then it takes it through a second metal loop. Now, I actually set the length here with the strap on the shoulder rest, tighten so it's snug, and then those rest there. There's a hole right next to the shoulder rest where you can feed that extra rope through, and you can tie it in a neat little knot underneath. Or if you don't wish to do that, you can lay it down in front of the shoulder rests. Same thing on the other side. Again, through the metal loop, then into the cleat, make sure it's down in the cleat, and then through the other metal loop, and it should stay snug there once it's in the right place. Set that down, feed the extra rope through, and I'm sure you can tie it in a neater knot than me, but that's what we'll do for the moment. Now your neoprene handles, like I mentioned, if you choose, you can have them with the cotton loops. They can hang right there together, or you can take them off, set it to the side. Now, foot strap goes down here below the spring bar. And this has this twist lock closure. So I'm going to loosen it, open it up. And take it inside. Then I can tighten it down, closing that opening. Same thing on the other side. And there's your foot strap. Now, let's take a look around, clean up some of these. I tend to hang on to at least one of the bags to hold on to the hardware, or rather the tools that were used. It's always good to keep those in your inventory. Now, let's just take one more gander. We can take the foam off of the Footbar. We have that in place. Should just tear off easily. And of course, our sitting box. So we'll take our sitting box for the moment, just so we can see everything's in place. We've got our springs, our foot strap, our risers, and here is your studio reformer with the XSR Footbar.